March was another intentional eyeshadow palette usage month. What I mean by that is I have started being more intentional about using my own collection, shopping my own stash. So if you want to see the 15 eyeshadow palettes that I used in March and see the looks that I did with them, keep on watching. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Aleisha Budget Beauty. My name is Aleisha. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, monthly eyeshadow palette roundup videos, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. All right, you guys. So I started this officially in February, where I decided that I don't really buy eyeshadow palettes that much anymore, you guys. I mean, going from how I used to be to how I am now, I am very, very, very picky. And I got that way by really using my own collection and falling back in love with it. So what I started in February is I started to, of course, use palettes that I am sent in PR still. And I do try to use every shade that's in a palette that I am sent in PR. And then I also use palettes that maybe are like within a year I got them. Either I purchased them myself or they were sent to me, and they're just ones that I really want to revisit. And then I also try to use palettes that I feel like could be on the chopping block, ones that I think, could I let this one go from my collection? Sometimes I realize, yes, I can. And sometimes I rediscover ones that I had forgotten about that are actually really great. And I have an example of one of those in this video. So let me go ahead and start with what is on my eyes right now. I am holding them in my hand, so let's go for it. Here's the look. I think this is really, really pretty. Love this look. And these palettes really pair nicely together. So we have the Cosmic Brushes Muse palette. And I am gonna scoot. Sometimes I forget to scoot because I'll be popping in looks as well over here. So the Cosmic Brushes Muse palette, this is probably, no, I know this is my favorite Cosmic Brushes palette for sure. Cosmic Brushes is one that I think I really, really loved for a while, the brand, and then they kind of fell off for me a little bit. Sometimes brands just peak. I feel like they do their best palettes, and then everything after that, I'm just not as interested in anymore. So I think this is definitely one of their best palettes. I also love the Undergrowth palette. That's a gorgeous one too. But I love that you have a mix of kind of like pastels and like grungy colors in here. And I did use, let's see, I used the shade Haze, this brown shade in the crease. And then I went in with Fig, the deeper kind of purpley brown to darken up the outer edge. And then I used Whisper, this shimmer here on the lid, as well as using Softly. This is kind of like a really, really light sage kind of color, kind of sage and bluish. It's right here. So really great palette. But again, I just don't know if they can really top themselves. Then I went in with the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Pretty in Pastels palette. This is just a palette that anytime I think of pastels, I bust it out. I have a few other pastel palettes I really like, but this is just the one I always think of first. So I use Fanciful, this purple, to kind of blend into that brown a little bit from before. Then I used Ambient, this beautiful purpley shimmer that has a tiny bit of blue to it, but I wanted to kind of pop a little bit more of that blue. So I took Ethereal, this shimmer, and just kind of ever so slightly popped it in the center. And I believe that is it, unless, yeah, that's it. That's what I used from this palette. But then I also did another look with it. Like I said, if I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling some pastels, this is probably the one I'm gonna bust out. I also really like it because you do have that deeper row on the bottom if you wanna deepen things up. Now, before I get into the next palettes, and I didn't rank these, but I kind of did like, maybe like they're good, I'm probably gonna keep them, but they're not like the best. And then I kind of worked my way up. But I do wanna talk about these singles real quick. I never really think to do singles on these palette roundup videos, but these little loose pigments are so freaking good. And I talk about it a lot in my stories on Instagram. like in the text, I'm like, these are so great, you know, but truly, you guys, like whenever I use these, by the way, they're from Silk Naturals. Whenever I use her loose pigments, genuinely, I wonder why I have so many palettes, because they're so easy. They're seamless. It looks professional, or it looks like you have a much more like expensive palette on your eyes, and all it is are these loose pigments. And I haven't even been using like a medium lately as an adhesive. I've just been dipping my finger, patting it on the eye like a 1 and done or a 2 and done, and then sometimes I'll get a brush and just kind of dab in and kind of get where my finger can't get. And I'm done. If it's a 1 and done, I'm done in 30 seconds. The other day I did these two, Sprout and Sugar Rush, together. It was each eye, maybe 40 seconds on each eye, so under 2 minutes for the whole look. And then I did the single shade Love Bug the other day that was seriously like, I don't even know if it was 30 seconds. It was like bam, swipe, swipe. The easiest thing to use, very flattering on the eyes. It doesn't show texture. These are excellent and they'll last forever. They're little, but they will last you forever. All right, so getting back into the palettes, I do like this palette, but it honestly is probably like the least exciting out of all 15 for the month. This is the Natasha Denona Hot Taupe palette. This just came in my BoxyCharm, and I was excited to get this for BoxyCharm. My fingernail just went right in that shimmer. I was excited to get this because even though it's kind of like dull colors, which is what I expect now out of BoxyCharm, Ipsy, at least it was a palette and not a bunch of skincare. So it was a good month for me. I like this palette. I think it's like an easy, no-brainer palette. The formula, the shimmers are nice and kind of like satiny. They're not like sparkly. They got like a little bit of sheen to them. I didn't have any problems with the mattes. Sometimes I do struggle with a few Natasha Denona's mattes in these smaller size palettes. Sometimes they're patchy, especially if it's like a purple or a blue, but no problem with this. I'll keep it because it's just like an easy thing to use, but I don't think it's like amazing. The next one is one that I thought, oh, let's try my Uoma Beauty. I know that I like them. It's one that no one ever really talks about. I've had in my collection for a while, but maybe I'd want to declutter it. But I have two of them here. One is a lot better, and I'll show you here in a minute. This one's still good, and I like it. I like the shimmers a lot in here, so I like it enough to still keep it. This is the Black Magic palette. And I love the color story, for one. I think it's an awesome color story. Gives me spring and fall vibes here, but this formula is different than the other one I'll show you in a minute that I like better. The mattes in here are a little bit drier. This palette did come first, so I think they improved the formula after this. These shimmers are really cool though, you guys. They are gritty as can be. Like, they feel super dry. So you'd think that they would suck, but they actually are really, really gorgeous on the eye. They have more texture to them, but they don't necessarily show texture on the lid. They kind of sit on top of the lid and they just sparkle. They're just really, really pretty, and it's just a really unique shimmer formula that I don't think I've really seen in any other palettes. This gritty that's dry but still has shine. It's not lackluster. So even though the mattes aren't my favorite in here, I do like the shimmers enough to keep. Okay, my next one is my Nomad Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. And I actually like this so much more than I did when I first got it. So I've had it a little over a year. I remember doing St. Patrick's Day looks with it last year. I did a few looks this year with it as well. And the reason I didn't love this when I first got it, no, that blue shimmer. Oh my gosh, you guys, RIP. I keep forgetting that this shimmer, it was in place. It's all shattered now. I kind of tried to pick it up, but the actual little pan came unglued right when I got it, and I keep forgetting, and I just opened it and yes, it fell out and it shattered. So, and this is probably my favorite shimmer in the palette, of course. The only blue one in there. Dang it. All right, I'll have to try to repress that and salvage what I can. But what I was saying is the reason why I didn't love this when I first got it is I love greens, but I like certain greens on myself better than others. I like a neon pop or a grungy green. I don't always love true greens on me. And I felt like this was just too true green, even though I thought it was a pretty palette. And then I just kind of wanted a little bit more variety to it. But I have to say, it has grown on me. I really love the warm tones in here and like this little area here. I think this gold shimmer is really gorgeous. And like I said, that was my favorite shimmer in the whole palette. It's so beautiful. So I still think this is kind of limiting, as you just get it out if you want a green look. And since they're still not my favorite type of greens, it's not my favorite palette, but I do like it better than I used to. Okay, now moving on to palettes that I really, really like. And this is the Profusion Ethereal palette. I've had this for quite a while. Profusion is just one of those that they're either amazing, and I can't believe they're as cheap as they are, or sometimes they're just like, they're good for the price type of thing. This is just good. Like, not even for the price. This is a really, really good palette. I got so many compliments on my look whenever I was wearing this. And you have two shimmers in here with my favorite Profusion formula. They're the kind of more squishy, this fly, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm gonna murder it. Okay, there's some more squishy, reflective shimmers. They're up here. They're just really beautiful on the eye. And then the mattes perform great in here too. I think this color story is gorgeous too. I think it's an underrated palette personally. Excellent, love it. The next one is the one I was referring to a while ago, the Uoma Beauty palette that I think is better than the last one. This is the Black Magic Freedom palette. And this formula is a little bit different. So here we have the same kind of layout. Love this color story too. This is the kind of yummy, neutral color story that I love so much, where you have like interesting neutrals. This almost looks like it could be a Pat McGrath, right? Whenever you're looking at those shimmers here, they are a different formula than the last. So the last one has that kind of gritty formula. These are really, really smooth. Here they are. They're very, very smooth, very reflective. You also have some shifty. You have two like duo. Oh my gosh, that fly. I will murder you. You have some shifts. I don't think it's showing up as well here as I'd like for it to. I wish I could put it on my hand, but my hand's already kind of messed up here. I promise that they look a lot better on the eye than they do on my arm here. They're really, really gorgeous with that shift. And then the mattes in here are just more buttery smooth. So I think that they improved it from the palette before. Excellent palette. Like, I don't know why more people don't try this or talk about it. All right, next up we have the DD Signature Ultimate Cappuccino palette. I love this palette. This is another one. What is it about the blue like shimmers? I mean, it looks kind of green here, but honestly, this is like a blue green. Gosh, it looks so green when I'm looking at it here, but it looks super, super blue purple to me. But anyway, those are just my favorite shimmers. Always fall out. It never fails. But this one was actually cracked up whenever I received it. It's just so soft. Like, it's just kind of one of those things. It's kind of the trade-off. Like, it's such a soft formula that's beautiful to work with, but those tend to just break. It's just what they do. But this is a gorgeous palette. I love this color story too. Another example of a mainly neutral palette with fun pops of color. I love it. I love the pop of yellow. I love the pop of pink and how you can do neutral, but then have those, oh my gosh, the ice cream man wants to die along with the fly. This is just a video of interruptions. It's just what it is. Okay, now my top 4 palettes here, I would say. These, let's see, 3 of these I did receive in PR. One of them I won in a giveaway, so I actually didn't purchase any of these, but they're fantastic, okay? All right, so let's just start with the DD Signature, since we just did one. This is the Chromebook Volume 2. Oh my goodness, these are the prettiest special shades I think I have in my whole collection. I truly do. They are so unbelievably beautiful. I kept saying that this is a palette that the palette does all the talking. Like, you can be completely unskilled. All you need is a finger and be able to dip and put it on your eyes, and people are gonna be wowed by your look because it does all the talking on its own. It is phenomenal. This is her most expensive palette, I believe, or at least that I have personally seen from Didi. It's still so much cheaper than other brands who have a palette of mainly special shades. Like, I've seen palettes like this cost $100 or more. And I think this was $62.99. And then like, I have a code with them. So if you want to save some money, it brings it, you know, obviously into the 50s, which to get this many special shades is pretty much unheard of. Now the matte choices, I wasn't too sure about it at first, but it does make sense when you kind of look at the rows like this. So I didn't really look at it that way at first. And then once I did, I was like, oh, okay. This is actually a vertical palette, but looking at them vertically, the mattes do make sense here. I do like that you have kind of more of a neutral leaning one. This actually has kind of a purple tone to it, like a deep, like maroonish burgundy sort of a shade, but it can kind of come across as being more neutral. So it's just about the special shades though. It's fantastic. Okay, the next one I have is the Currency palette from Uoma Beauty. This one I've had now for about almost a year, I believe. Came out, I think, at the very beginning of last summer. And this is a palette that I know when you look at it, it probably looks really intimidating because it's so bright and so colorful. It's like truly looking at the sea and those like neon things that would be in a tank. And it is, though, easier to use and easier to wear than you would think. It performs so well. It really has to. I think with colors like this, it has to perform well or it could go sideways. And the mattes are perfection. No issues blending, very pigmented, but just blend out so smooth. The shimmers are stunning. This is honestly one of my favorite palettes in my collection that I didn't expect to be, because the color story was kind of so out there, but I love it. The next one is Poppy Storm by Titanium Foxes. And truly, you guys, like, since I'm not buying that many palettes anymore, I think I can justify maybe around Black Friday, I will splurge and buy one or two more palettes. This one I did win in a giveaway from my gorgeous friend Kelly, but I've held off purchasing because it is one that the shipping costs quite a bit. But now that I don't buy that many palettes, I feel like, you know what, I can splurge and get 2 palettes, and it's just so good. Her color stories are great. They perform beautifully on the eyes. I always love my looks with this palette. Again, a blue matte that is broken. I'm like the curse of the blues for me. But anyway, I love this Poppy Lava shade in the middle. Like, it's crazy. It's orange red here and it is green as can be when I'm looking at it. There we go. See that? Freaking awesome. Such a good palette. One of my favorites. And then my last one, like, this is just such a special palette. This is the Nomad Cosmetics Fairy Tale Europe palette. It's my favorite Nomad palette. It really, really is. And I think this one surprised a lot of people. I truly do, because I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's going to be pretty, but this is just what I kind of heard on the streets when they were doing the reveal like they do in the teasers. They were like, it's going to be too colorful. And like, it's pretty, but it's just, it's not wearable is what I was hearing people say, until they saw the neutral row, and then it transformed everything for them. And I think that was so smart, because you can truly wear this every day in any situation and it not be crazy, but it's so fun and so beautiful. The theming was gorgeous. I love it. And they so kindly sent my daughter a palette and she loves it. And she was like rocking it, loves it. It was so sweet when she was opening it. She was so surprised. So thank you, Nomad. That was very, very kind. But I love this palette. My favorite Nomad palette to date. And I do have some right underneath because I really, really love the Chicago palette a whole lot. But this one's just extra special to me personally. But that's it, you guys. Those are the 15 palettes that I used in the month of March, being very intentional about what I'm using. And I did not decide to declutter any of these this month. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. But I encourage you guys to do the same. Like, really look at your collection. Don't just grab the same palettes you always grab. Grab the old ones, grab the new ones, but mix it up. Really get to know your collection. That's it, you guys. I thank you so much for watching. And as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping. Bye.